Hello and welcome back to the She is Courageous podcast. Now, I'm going to be honest, today's episode comes from a place off the back of, I'm not sure what the right words are to start that conversation, but as I sit here, having just pressed record, I am coming out the other side of a very busy month. And so today's episode, which is about balance, work-life balance, the elusive, inverted commas, work-life balance, it is coming from a place of recognising that these last few weeks, I definitely haven't got that right. Now, some of that's been really conscious decisions, so I'm okay with that. But actually, it got me really thinking about, in truth, there was a bit of guilt that came in where I was being realistic with myself. I've probably not practiced as I preach with my clients over the last few weeks. But as I say, there's some really conscious decisions there. But it really got me thinking about the narrative around us. People talk about balance all the time. People are always talking about, there's loads of people out there that want to tell you how you can achieve work-life balance. We see across the socials this idea, this romanticized, idealized version of entrepreneur life where you can apparently build this wildly successful business whilst sitting on the beach with your laptop, which overheats by the way, working very few hours, magically having it all, cocktail in hand. And look, I'm being a little bit facetious, but I'm also going to burst the bubble a little bit today. I'm going to be a bit of a cynic if you like, and I'm going to say that's not true. I'm going to say that there's way too much of really quite complete rubbish being blasted across socials that suggests you should be able to really quite quickly create this incredible business and balance business and life. And I want to break down the real truth. I want to be honest about, and I know you know, okay, and I guess that's why I really hope today's episode resonates, because we know what it takes to run a business and actually have a life without burning out, without buying into the online fairy tales that you can make millions while barely working and apparently not even show your face on the socials. That's probably one for another day, actually. But I guess this is for you if you feel like you are failing at the elusive balance, because you're not. And it comes from a place of recognising that over the last few weeks, I definitely have not had the work-life balance that I dreamed I would have through running a business. I do sometimes, by the way, and that's my point. It's not realistic what we see where people are like, if you just do all these things, then you'll have this elusive balance. This idea that you should be able to effortlessly juggle business, family, social life, personal development, self-care, fitness, relationships, hobbies, all of it, and have a 6+ figure business that's like, it's almost like income on the side. Is it any wonder that so many of us feel like we're failing? So many of us feel like, we're getting it wrong, when actually we're just living in reality. And this is what I see. This is how I feel sometimes. I always say, firstly, coaches have coaches. Second of all, I keep it real, okay? I've worked damn hard to get to where I've got to. I am in a good place. I'm really proud of what I've created. I'm really proud of where my business is at. But I also have moments where I see what others are up to and I get triggered and think, God, am I getting it really wrong? Like, are they really living that life? Am I really working this hard and still not at the levels they're saying they're at, and they're not working anywhere near as hard? I have those moments of questioning me. I don't want you to have those moments of questioning you. I don't want you to have guilt and feel bad when you're working too much. I don't want you to feel bad when you're not working enough. I don't want you to feel like you're not getting it right in either direction, because somehow 1 minute you're working too much, 1 minute you're not working enough, and neither one is giving you the results that everybody else seems to be getting. There is so much pressure to always be on in your business, whilst also being fully present in life. And for the mums out there, the balance of them being fully present as a mum while trying to build a business, it's just crazy. And we're watching people on social media post about their effortless success and wondering why well, maybe we're not doing it like them, but we're definitely not getting the effortless success that they seem to be getting. I had to put my teeth in there for that word. So I guess I just want to, and I did an episode previously about passive income, the myth of passive income. This is not about that. That's one part of the story. Today's episode is about this crazy narrative that seems to be getting louder and louder, that you can start a business, work a few hours, it will become wildly profitable. And if you haven't mastered that and then been able to weave in this wonderful life around it, apparently you're getting it wrong. Now, you can absolutely create a business that gives you more freedom. You can create a business that gives you the life you dream of. You can create anything you want to. But you can't do that by just wishing for it. You can't do that by buying into the hustle-free, fairy tale, faceless stuff we see on the socials. There is real process to this. And part of that process is getting brutally honest about what this balance, inverted commas, balance actually looks like. So I want us to really let go of the unrealistic expectations that we are seeing and then creating in our minds. Because the online business world does sell the dream, okay? Of course it does. It's business, and they are selling the dream, the transformation, and it's profitable to do that. I was chatting to someone, I've mentioned this faceless business account thing a couple of times. I was chatting to someone about this the other day, and we were laughing and saying, everybody wants to teach everybody how to do what they're doing, but nobody's actually doing the doing anymore. And the faceless Insta accounts that you see, like if you really look at what they're doing, they are selling courses that tell you how to create a course to sell to be a faceless business account. I mean, ultimately, that's what's going on. If someone tells you you can make 6 figures in 6 months with no effort, you're going to be tempted to believe that, right? Particularly if you're currently exhausted from working long hours, feeling like you are doing everything you can possibly do and not getting the results you get. Because it's not easy these days. I want to be really clear about this. This is not a negative podcast, okay? But it is not easy to run a business. It is not easy to run an online business. In 2025, everybody wants the freedom, the flexibility. I read a post on LinkedIn this morning about how somehow entrepreneurship has been completely romanticised and idealised, and actually paid employment has almost been vilified. No one wants an employed role anymore, because actually we are being sold this dream through everything we see on social media that you can create a business that gives you the life of your dreams. You can. You absolutely can. I truly believe that. But it does not happen quickly. Well, not for everybody. There are some unicorns. There are some exceptions who tap into something that just hits the mark. But in the main, if someone is telling you you can make 6 figures in 6 months, I would really question it. But it's not going to be easy to question if you are currently absolutely exhausted, feeling like you've got no balance whatsoever, actually feeling like life is worse since you started your business. Of course, you're going to be tempted to believe the person that you see on the beach, out of the restaurants, dressed the way that you dream of dressing. We absolutely get into comparison. We see the highlight reels. I mean, let's be honest, not many people are posting about the late nights, the stressful decisions, the moments of doubt. What we see are the curated versions, and it's completely messing with our expectations. And I get it. I am part of the problem. I don't air my dirty laundry, so to speak, on the socials, but I don't over elaborate the truth either. I keep it real. I don't post, woe is me, I worked so many hours in this last month. Of course I don't. But I don't pretend it's easy. I don't tell you that actually I work 3 hours a day and I earn 6 figures. Real doesn't have to mean woe is me and showing all the horrid parts. But it does mean real. It means authentic. It means inspire through the reality. That's what it means for me. And I think there's a load of cultural conditioning. I delivered a session this week for a group of women in a corporate business. And we talked about authenticity, but my positioning of the session was around, actually, we have been told we should be able to do it all. We're living in a really exciting time. I think we genuinely are. By exciting time, I'm talking about like a 50-year window. Right now, we are in a time where there is more opportunity than there has ever been for women. There are more expectations than there have ever been for women. There are more challenges than there have ever been for women. But there are also more exciting opportunities than there have ever been for women. My grandmother would turn in her grave if she could see what we're all up to these days. She'd be like, I don't know what she'd think, actually. That'd be an interesting conversation. But there is a real cultural conditioning piece going on right now. We have been told, we've been fed this idea that we can have it all, we should want it all, and we should be able to manage it all. But there is a reality that says, actually, women are still balancing everything they always were. And I'm not playing the victim card here. There is a huge cultural conditioning that says we should be able to do it all. We should want to do it all. We should be able to do it all. And if we can't manage every single ball in the air without stress, guilt, and compromise, then we may be getting it wrong. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not real life. So I guess, as always, what I want to do is just really quickly give you some things to think about in terms of what is real life and how do you get to the elusive balance. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is let go of the word balance. I really am. I'm going to say what you've got to actually do is redefine, get really clear, what does balance mean for you? Because balance, the actual definition of balance, is equal. The sum of equal parts. Well, balance isn't about equal time for everything. And it shouldn't be. Balance needs to be about intentional choices for you. It needs to be, rather than trying to balance everything at once, focusing on right now, what am I trying to balance? And actually, what do I want that balance to look like? Some weeks your business will need more. My last 4 weeks, it's been absolutely the business that has needed more from me. But some weeks, your personal life needs more, and that's okay. So instead of trying to balance everything at once, focus on your priorities right now. You can shift the needle as and when you need to. I often talk about, rather than balance, okay, particularly work-life balance, no such thing, by the way. What I suggest is you think about what right now would work-life harmony look like. And that's a bit cheesy, right? But I want you to think about, actually, right now, what does work and life need? And therefore, rather than trying to achieve this elusive 50-50 balance, which is probably not what you're trying to achieve anyway, redefine what actually you need right now, that split to look like, and be okay with it. And then you can make the space and make the decisions that achieves what you need to. So for me, the last few weeks has been a 70-30. 70% has been about work. I've run my retreat. I've then condensed my usual way that I manage my one-to-one client work into time in and around the retreat. So it's all felt a bit pushed, but that's okay. So I've given 70% of myself to work for the last month. But you know what? In April, I know that I can dial that down a bit. So redefine, what does balance actually mean for you? What does work-life harmony look like for you right now? What are your priorities? Then we've got to stop buying into the overnight success myth, and particularly the myth you're seeing on the socials. I want to just be really, really clear. I have seen more businesses closing down in the last 6 months than I have in the last 5 years, and it makes me really, really sad. But building a sustainable business does take time. So if someone is selling you a shortcut, ask yourself what's in it for them. You can build a business that supports your life. I truly believe that. But it takes time, it takes strategy, it takes effort, and it takes very smart decisions. It also takes some discipline of not looking at what everyone else is doing. Because if you're building a business that supports your life, then what everybody else is doing doesn't matter, because they're not supporting your life, they're supporting their own. So you've got to stop buying into the myths you're seeing on the socials. You've then got to set boundaries that work for you. If you don't set your own rules, someone else will set them for you. Boundaries aren't just about saying no to everybody. Boundaries are about actually setting personal boundaries and promises to yourself. So it might mean about setting boundaries around your work time. It might mean setting boundaries around your personal time. It's not just about what you say no to, it's about what you say yes to. So really think about what boundaries work for you in order to achieve the work-life harmony that you need. Then you've got to be really ruthless with your time and your energy. Really pay attention to where is your time going. Are you giving time to work that's moving the needle or getting sucked into the wrong stuff, getting sucked into busy work, getting sucked into what everybody else is doing? I've read somewhere something like not every task is equal. And it's so true. You have to focus on the things that create the results that you are trying to achieve. This is a classic. I've been talking a lot with my clients around the metrics for the next quarter. And everybody's got this one focus. You run a business, so the number one metric is sales. Well, yes, it is. I mean, it's not a business without sales. But actually, if you're really new to business, if the only metric you're tracking is sales, you're going to be disappointed. Actually, look at the input to get to the output. So for everything that you are doing, focus on the things that are actually creating the results. What's the result you're trying to achieve? What are the tasks that need to go into that? Be ruthless with your time and your energy. And finally, as I always say, own your version of success. What are you trying to achieve? What does success look like for you in life and business? Stop chasing everyone else's definition of balance, everyone else's definition of success. Maybe you don't even want to live a nomad lifestyle. I don't want to work on a beach. I might want to go on more holidays, but I don't want to work while I'm doing it. If you don't want to work 10-hour days, build a business model that supports that. If you don't actually want to work 3-hour days, build a business that works for you. You have got to do what works for you. Some people like working longer hours. Some people like working in shorter stints. You've got to think about, what are you passionate about? What are you trying to achieve? What works for you? And stop being distracted, but also don't feel guilty for what you want to do for you. So I guess I want to say, I'm really sorry. You can't have it all at the same time. You can have all the things that you want to have. You can do all the things that you want to do. You can be the very woman that you want to be. You can build a business and a life that works for you. But you need to decide, what does balance look like for you right now? That future version you're trying to build is going to take time to get to. So what's the real priority for you right now in your business, in your life? And what's one change that you can make to honour that now? Because that's true work-life balance or work-life harmony. It's personal, it's yours, and it doesn't matter what everyone else is up to. Now, if this episode has hit home for you, and as I said at the very beginning of this episode, this is very much coming from a place of acknowledgement that there's been a real shift in my work-life harmony in the last month, but now what I'm doing is recalibrating and really thinking about, okay, what does the next quarter look like? If it has hit home for you, or if you're thinking about, gosh, this would really, really help someone I know right now, share it. Let's get rid of these BS stories. Let's start building businesses and lives that work for us, not for the curated highlight reel of social media, and not because someone else has said you should. I'd love to know how this episode has made you feel, what it's got you thinking, and what you're going to do as a result. And as I said, if it's hit home for you, or if you want to share it with someone else, please do. Let's all move towards our own balance together.